Hello, Scribblers. I'm Katie, the founder and CEO of the Scribblers Den, your online source for writing craft courses and writing communities. So, we are here today with middle grade author Erin Petti. Erin is the author of the Thelma B trilogy, the third of which, Thelma B and the Darkwood Queen, which is all the way back here, um, just came out a week ago. Erin has also published poetry and short stories in various anthologies, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to chat with you. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Katie, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Yeah, this is I'm so excited. And also I said I was going to do this as a warning. My computer is glitching, and so I think we actually might be experiencing like a literal haunting right now. So if there's
Yes,
any glitches throughout this Scribblers, that's what's going on, and it's all Erin's fault.
it's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, I mean it's a bonus. It's a bonus. Like where
Yeah,
else are you going to get a haunted interview at, right?
bonus paranormal activity just for
Yes.
you, Scribblers.
Woo! Awesome. All right. So the first time I met Erin was in 2016 at BookCon, when it was weirdly in Chicago for 1 year. I guess like that was the 1 year
Hmm.
that they moved it and they pushed it down to one day. But you were debuting. See, it's doing these things. I'm all over the place. This is haunting. Scribbler's haunting. Okay. So you were debuting your first Thelma B book, The Peculiar Haunting of Thelma B. And I do actually have my signed arc with the two
Oh my
covers. Um,
gosh.
and there's a little inscription in the front and everything. So it's like proof I met you way back when. Um,
I love it. Oh my word.
so the third book in the Thelma B trilogy just came out about a week ago on the 6th, right? The 6th?
It was May 6th. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So to me, this is just a testament to your determination, your writing skills, and your confidence in the story. Can you just kind of take me through some of the roadblocks that publishing hit you with and how you kept moving forward despite them?
Absolutely. What a great question. And I love that. I love what you're doing here, Katie, with the Scribblers Den, because there's, the books that you see in the library and there's the books that you see in the bookstore. And there's just so much that goes on to get it there. So for me, it was really an interesting road because I was so lucky to partner with Mighty Media Press for the first book. So
Mhm.
they're a traditional publisher, and it was a small house, but super supportive. And they sent me to BookCon. It was just a
Yeah.
really wonderful experience. They did a beautiful job with the first book. But shortly after the first book published, they were no longer publishing books. And so that was the idea that it would be a series, that it would go forward, was suddenly kind of, it felt like off the table
Mhm.
because I had this book that was supposed to be the first in a series. And when you have a second book, it's not to be able to sell that to a different publishing house
Right.
because the first one is already out there. People want like a new series or a new story. So I knew that that wasn't really going to be in the cards. So there was a while where I just kind of thought that that was it for the series, even though I had a draft of the second book written and I had really this feeling that it wasn't done.
Mhm.
And that was kind of crummy, just a feeling like
Yeah.
it was unfinished. You know what I mean? Because I was so invested in the characters, and it's such a really rich experience to like be in that world and write that story. And then it was just like I don't know, it felt weird to me as an author, and I know it felt weird to the really incredible readers who had
Mhm.
adopted and taken Thelma B into their hearts.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, there was
but
definitely
it
more
was,
story. Like when I finished the first one, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like what's gonna happen
yeah. Well,
next?
it's kind of like a setup
Yeah.
for the is, but there was definitely like a mourning period of just kind of being like, I accept this. You cannot control what's going to happen, and I kind of put it over to the side. And I wrote a bunch of other things, and did a bunch of other experiments with my writing. And it was, I think, in 2021, I think so, or 2021. I have a friend, and her name is Bonnie Jean, and she is a, just a wonderfully talented woman who was trying to um, establish herself as a voiceover actress.
Hmm.
And she had just read my book, and she like called me and she was like, Erin, let me do this audiobook. Like, please, please, please let me do this audiobook. This would be so good. Like, oh my God, I can just like, I can picture how I would do this. This would be, and it was kind of like, okay, if you, yeah, sure. If you like, obviously, yes, if you want to do that, that's incredible. Um, and it was this process of working with her and working through that first book again with kind of like a lot more experience under my belt and
Hmm.
a lot more of an idea about like what the world of publishing was kind of like.
Yeah.
And it made me, it just kind of like lit the fire inside of me again to be like, what if there was a way? And just at this time, it was like everything kind of happened at once. Um, I was introduced to the folks. There's a woman named Lissa who's incredible, and she runs Snowy Wings Publishing,
Hmm.
which is a what do we call it? Like an author cooperative, like a co-op, where there is a process of kind of like having the work like reviewed, and there's like editorial standards, and like it's like a little co-op, like how you would for your groceries, but it's with all of us are authors. And it was this new way to publish where it was independent, and it is independent, but there was all of this support and all of this guidance and all of these professional affiliations because, it's a small press that's independent. Um, and because there was so much support, I was able to revisit the process and go back and completely rewrite the second book from what I had done in 2017 and make it real for the life that I was living in the life that the characters were living in 2022 when I got to release it. I was able to partner with Chris Aaron McLeod again, who is the illustrator. She has unbelievable work. I worked with all of the tools and all of the community um, that was there. I found an incredible, incredible, incredible editor. Her name is um, working with her was like getting an MFA. It was just incredible. And then so what happened was kind of like taking that feeling of like being high and dry a little bit and leaving my characters high and dry and just realizing that like if I had enough energy to do it, I could actually like create the rest of the story and deliver it. And that's what we ended up doing. Which I did just had so much help. I had so much support. And it was really just a matter of like the right people having conversations at the right time. And I am, so, I mean, I'm just like, it, like, you're not supposed, I think you're supposed to be like more humble than this, but like, I am so proud of this trilogy. I am
You should
so
be.
proud that it's like here and the story is now complete and the arcs are complete. And like, it doesn't feel like anything's left hanging anymore.
Hmm.
So it was just kind of a real lesson to me of like when things don't happen and you want them to, maybe they're not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
way it happened and the books that came out in 2022 and then just last week are completely different books than would have come out any other way. And they are authentic to who I have become in the past couple of years, and they are
Hmm.
authentic characters in a way that I simply could not have written in 2016 and 2017. So long answer for a short question, but it was quite a ride.
Yeah, but that's like it's so thorough. And just really one quick note before I go into some other little follow-ups in there. Um, I actually just listened to the original Thelma B audio version because I wanted to kind of review because it had been a while since I read that one, and I was
Oh,
reading the second
cool.
and and the third. So I used Libby and I used the Free Library of Philadelphia, And so
Yeah.
it wasn't on their list. So I requested it. And 2 days later, I got the little notification. They're like, we have added this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes. So
Ooh,
fantastic job. Like excellent.
thank
Highly
you.
recommend. But it's just I think it's really funny that like you brought that up as how that all came to be. And I was like, oh, I just listened to that. So
And she's so good. Isn't she
yes.
so
Oh my
good?
gosh, it was
Like
excellent. It
she's
was
so
excellent.
talented.
Yeah.
Oh
And I
my
do feel
gosh.
like just in general, the quality of audiobooks has just skyrocketed in like the past 6 or 8 years. Like they're like whole productions now. And I'm here for it. I love my audiobooks.
Oh my God. I
That's
just
what I
love it
listen
so much.
to every morning when I get ready for work. I just like my alarm goes off before I even get out of bed. I open up my audiobook, I press play, and then I listen to it until I get to school. So
Perfect.
so every day it's like an hour and a half of guaranteed reading time. And I'm like, okay, I'm good.
What's better than that, right? I mean,
Honestly, yeah,
like,
it's helpful. It makes me feel good. So
good stuff. Good
um
stuff.
but yeah, I think just everything else that you're saying about the process. We have this idea with writing and publishing that it's very linear and it's all going to work out. And so many authors that I talk to, that's not how it is. So like your story is one of them, is like this weird road that you went through. I have other friends who have had like two or three agents or books published
Hmm.
here and then they didn't get to finish or things like that. So it's never what we think it's going to be, and I think it's a lot more complex until you get into
It's
it and you
so
start to understand
complicated.
it more.
And the thing that like I am like I really had this moment, like I don't know however many years ago, because it feels like it's
Mhm.
been just forever, like being in book publishing, where it was like, oh, I guess I won't give up.
Yeah.
Like I don't, I mean, like it, because looking back, I'm like, I probably should have given up, but like I didn't, and
No.
I didn't even think about it. So I guess like I'm just not gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still being able to find joy, and that's like the
Yes.
real incredible thing. And I do hope you forgive me because I am also a yoga teacher, so
Oh
I
no,
get a little
please.
woo sometimes. But like I was in my yoga teacher training when I was like getting empowered to like publish the book.
Hmm.
And something that was so interesting to me because we were going over this idea of like gratitude, but trying for it to not be like a cliche thing, like actual like what feels good, what feels good. And I would be, and this is like back when we were on Twitter and everything. But like
Sure.
I would be like, there are these authors that I would just like look up to so much and be like, oh my God, it must be so. And like so many people are miserable.
Yeah.
They've accomplished everything I could ever dream to accomplish, and they are not very happy. And that was like a light bulb moment for him. Like, what if I'm just happy right now with like what I'm able to create and how I'm able to connect? And like,
Yeah.
I am like, I love it. I love writing, and I'm not waiting for like a six-figure deal to be happy. Like, I'm happy now. And that has been a game changer to not
It is.
always keep the finish line like ahead, ahead, ahead. It's like, no, we are at the finish line. This is awesome. We're
Yeah. If you want to
writing.
start another race,
Awesome.
like go start another race, but also like you did this. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like just writing is that's it. Like you won. You're like
Yeah.
expressing your humanity through your ideas. You won. We're there. No one needs to give you a medal for that. Like just like feel it, own it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And to me, like that was like a real mindset change that has helped me do everything that I've done since then.
No, that is beautiful. And that's it, Scribblers. Like I have like no follow-up to that. Like that is just that's perfect. Please do that. Do exactly what Erin just said. Um, best advice you might ever get is just own it and love it and believe in yourself because you should. You absolutely should. Yeah.
Good. It's all good.
Before I go back into like my regularly scheduled questions,
Oh, yes.
I really loved how you talked about like the book that you kind of like rewrote, like your revision of it was not what would have written before.
Oh my
I
God.
feel
Yeah.
like I'm going through that right now with a couple of my manuscripts. And like one I revised and I wrote it for the first time in like 2018 maybe or 2017 when I was working on that. And I just revised it like a year ago, and the Katie of 2017 would never be able to do what the Katie of 2024 just did. And same thing
Hmm.
with the manuscript I'm about to like send out into the query trenches now. Like I have learned so much, and it's it's one of those gratitude things. Like I just have to like stop sometimes and recognize and be like, oh my God, like look what I've done. Like this is amazing. Um,
Fun.
even though I'm not always getting the outside validation, which is hard, but it's a work in progress, which is perfect.
And we don't know like what is going to be happening with our work. So
Yeah.
when I was at it was a di it was in Minnesota, but it was the same year that I met you when we were doing like all the hype.
Hmm.
Um, I was at a conference with Christina Sunderbat, who is a two-time Newbery
Oh
Award winner
wow.
now. But she was there with her first book called The Changelings, which is a lovely book that just kind of coasted under the radar.
Hmm.
And she just was so talented. She obviously is so talented, so singular, so unique, such a lovely book. And then like when she kind of like moved forward and I think she got some different professional partnerships and then she exploded. She has these
Yeah.
big books with all of these awards and all of these accolades and she's so deserving. And now I just saw on I think it was Facebook the other day like Changelings is coming back up. She's republishing it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, because that book was good. like
And
she
that is
but it was
really
just like
cool.
that, you never know. Like you write something today and maybe it doesn't happen the way that you want it to,
Mm,
but like who knows? Like all of these ideas can be evergreen. And you can take
100%.
things from different manuscripts and repurpose them or republish them or it's just like life is long and
Yeah.
words have crazy lives.
Yeah. I think like the lesson here is that just go with it. Like go with the flow, be
Go with it.
flexible, change some stuff up, and don't be afraid of that. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
no, like this is just a masterclass. Thank you. You're you're doing everything. Thank you.
It's just the yoga teacher training, honestly.
That
I
but
used to
that
be a
is
lot
like
more
it's such
anxious
a
about
good
publishing.
yeah, it's such a good thing to bring to everything. And I'm not gonna lie, I am not a fan of yoga only
All
because
good.
it for me it is personally so difficult, and like my muscles are so tight and so tense, and I know I would have to like work at it for a really long time, and I can't. I do a core fitness class, and my instructor also does yoga, and she's always like, "So are you staying for yoga?" And I'm like, "No," and I should,
So I am
but
not in the business of pushing anything on anyone, but I will say that you can do a lot of yoga just by reading books.
okay,
There is a lot of philosophy, all of the
yeah,
stuff about mindset and like just kind of trying to be like the most
hmm
you can be. Like asana is this is not what Scribbler's done is about, but I'm talking about asana. Asana is like one branch of yoga, and that's the
yeah,
physical movement. But there's 8 branches. And like a lot of it just has to do with like the way you think about conflict, the way you think about comfort, the way you think
yeah.
about, you know what I mean? Um, if you want book recommendations, I'll send them to you.
No, and that all makes sense, and I
Like pushing my yogi agenda.
yeah, no, but that like it's so good, and like I know in my mind that it's good for me. And I do things at different points, like different poses, and like I love child's
Oh
pose.
yeah.
Like if I'm just at home, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just gonna do this, and it feels really good, and it's a nice reset. Um, but after I get through like 3 poses, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. And I know I need to practice. So one day I will just not today. Oh wait, hold on. I think that my computer muted you. Um, ask to wait. Can you unmute
You
yourself?
know, like Katie, I would have just stopped talking about yoga. You didn't have to mute me.
Look, it's not
I
me.
mean, like,
You're the one that's haunting this entire Zoom
it's the
chat.
ghost. I know it's the pod ghost.
It is. Have you like noticed, like, are you seeing the screen doing all of its crazy things on your end?
No, I'm afraid that might just be your screen,
Okay.
but take it as a good sign, maybe.
I guess. Yeah, I can't I can't wait to see what this actually looks like when I pull the video footage. Um I don't I'm gonna have to like put like a warning, like please don't watch it if you're like sensitive to quickly
Photo
changing. Yeah, I don't like just like minimize and listen to the audio or something. Oh, oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll get back on track.
Sure. We're all
Um,
on track.
but yeah, but it is. And do yoga, guys, because yoga is good. Um, all right. So we kind of touched on this just a little bit, but Thelma B is a trilogy. And writing a trilogy is obviously more complicated than just writing, that standalone than I think people think of, because it's not just creating three separate stories with the same characters. You actually have to have an arc from book one to book three, and you have to have these little mini arcs and have them all linked together in the end. So, can you just tell me a little bit of what that process looked like for you for outlining Thelma B's trilogy?
So I think that the I am a is it a pantser is probably the word that you know, but like I think gardener is that what George R. R.
Okay.
Martin calls it? I don't know. It sounds so much more delicate than pantser. But for the most part, like I am doing like I do a little bit of outlining,
Mhm.
but it's just kind of like I need to have a couple of like absolute like
Like
marks that I'm gonna
your
hit.
touchstones, yeah.
Yeah. But outside of that, it's a lot like it takes me probably longer to write a full book because I go pretty quickly through the first draft. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then it's like, and then it comes in with, then we do have to be thinking about the arcs reaching the pinnacles and the emotional notes that they need to. For me, I think that like that really I've been so impacted by just like life since
Hmm.
2016. I think I wrote the first book as an adventure book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was an adventure book. And it's a fun adventure. And it does have to do with like accepting who you are. And it does have to do with like those things. But the second book has everything to do with um like living after 2020 and like that like moment like really like Thelma comes to this place in that book where it becomes really clear that like the things she always thought were going to take care of her and the
Yeah.
things she always thought she could rely on for answers don't always have the answers and don't always have the ability to take care of her. And that is a coming of age moment for her. And it was like
Oh yeah.
a very post-pandemic kind of coming of age moment for me too. It's like, oh, like if I'm going to be taken care of, I'm going to take care of myself. Like if I'm going to, you know what I mean? And I'm not
Yeah,
going to like
I
look
do.
to an authority figure to make sure everything's fine, even though like we've always been told that like you stay in the rules and everything will be fine. It's like sometimes that's not true.
Mm-mm.
And like so for me, that was like where I was when I was rewriting that second book. And so
Yeah.
that's her arc in that book. And then in the third book, it's like we're just like growing as people. And so like the piece in the third book that I kept wrestling with, and like no spoilers, I guess, but like
Yeah.
kind of spoilers, when you have this like thing that you don't know how to handle, it's a mistake to keep it all to yourself.
Yeah.
It's a mistake to keep it like to feel like you have to handle it. You have to because like when you are like Thelma and you had like the whole beauty of her world to me is it's like her friends are like real people to me. Like I
Oh my God,
feel
I
like they're
love her
really
friends.
but it's just like and I was, it was kind of like writing it and having her like really like wrestle with this, like how to like wrangle and wrestle this thing that I cannot wrangle and wrestle. And the answer is to let go,
Yeah.
like let go. And that to me was like very, very much where I was when I was writing the third book. So even though it's like and I had to go back, right, to make sure
Yeah.
that all of the arcs are doing all the things and all of the craft things are doing all of the craft things. But as far as like getting it out of my system, it was really just a matter of like, I'm growing up at 43. You know what I mean? Thelma's growing up at
Yeah.
11, 12 years old. Um, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about like chronic illness. And there's something I suffer from chronic illness, and it was like not something I ever thought would make it in her story. But as I was having a tough time with it, and I was
Yeah.
writing that third book in the beginning, I was like, I'm just writing about like my PMDD. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
writing about like my like
2, 1. Hi, Scribblers. So that was the ghost. That was us being haunted. Please send Thelma B here to take care of whatever just happened. Kicked us both out of the Zoom call. I got us back, and we were just discussing this idea of how writing, as Erin was writing the third book, The Darkwood Queen, kind of just growing as a person and like having her own epiphanies through writing about this character who is also coming of age and learning more about herself. So I'll turn it back over
it
to you.
kind of makes me, yeah, it makes me curious because it's been like I think everything that I've written that I care about, and I have like some unpublished books that I'm like either are on submission or going to go on submission. So like I have other worlds that I've created and that I care a lot about, but it's always this, it always is the same. It always is that thing where like there's some like even just it's like a middle grade ghost story, but there's like a psychological, emotional truth that I'm currently grappling with. And it's like the only way that I can write something that feels authentic is if it has that kind of touchstone where I'm actually I'm actually kind of exploring that in real time too. Um, it's just it's interesting. And I wonder if it was like that when I was younger, or if that's something that's kind of just happened as I've become an older
Right.
writer.
Well, I find that interesting because I look at back at everything I've written, and when I go back and read it, I'm like, oh wow, I was really dealing with like XYZ. And I can tell you exactly what was
Right?
going on in my
Yeah.
life based on what I'm putting the characters through. Um, so maybe you just need to go back and read like some of those first versions and be like, oh my gosh, yes, this is exactly what I was feeling during that time. Um,
Right?
it's like a history. It's like a history of my mental state as I go through.
And I think that like as we learn more about writing and as we read
Mm,
more books and write more books and we get better and better, we just get better at metabolizing
yes,
and transmuting that
it's a
that
great way of
lived
putting that.
experience, yeah, into like stories that can be so specific that they're tremendously universal. You know, that's the hope.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, so you just mentioned, this like spooky middle grade story. I'm a wimp. I like to say I'm a bit of a wimp. I'm a huge wimp. I am the
Okay.
wimpiest wimp that ever wimped when it comes to
Okay.
spooky stuff. I'm a turn all the lights on in the house, sleep with all the things on. So middle grade fiction for me um, is both the level of spook I can tolerate, but also sometimes it still freaks me out. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is so much because I think sometimes with middle grade, you get to kind of like dig in a little bit deeper and play with that because you don't always
Yes.
explain it. You just leave it up to the kid to imagine. And this kid says, stop, like, don't do that. But my question is, how do you decide just how spooky and scary to go with a middle grade book?
I love that question. And it's something that I think about a lot. Specifically with this third book, this is the far and away the creepiest, I think,
Oh, great.
of the three. Oh, great.
I've only started like the first chapter, so because I mean it only
Well,
came out
yeah,
last week and I haven't gotten far, but great.
I mean, it
Read
just
in
has
the
like,
daytime,
it
no
has
nighttime reading.
more, no nighttime reading. It has more, um, it just, there's more like real fear.
Hmm.
And I play with that a little bit more. And it's something that when I was giving this to my beta readers, that was like my number one question. Like, tell me if this is too
Yeah,
scary because I don't want it to be too scary. And everyone was like, no, 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 no. And I think that the way that I can kind of, because it's not like crazy horror,
no,
obviously. It's middle
no.
grade. Everyone's fine, right? But um she's older,
Hmm.
and so a big part of this story is like, so in the first two books, and it's kind of like it just kind of grew really organically, where the first book, she's really a child. She
Yeah,
really is like in the world of childhood, and the adults around her play a really important role in everything that happens. And in the second book, the adults are still playing an important role, but it's just a little bit less than it
yeah. They
was.
stepped back.
And they step back and she
Hmm.
steps forward. And in the third book, it's like all the kids. Like this is like their show. And like that happens in a couple of cool ways. One of the ways is that like they actually went, or there's a new school now, so it's a middle high school,
Hmm.
and so they're with older kids. So there are like these high school characters that are now informing the plot,
Yeah,
and these high school characters that she's still 12 at this point, but she is interacting with older characters that are just a little bit older than her and not full adults. So it like the tone of it is a little bit more serious because the things she's feeling are a little bit harder because she's growing up.
right.
I think that opened the door for it to be a little darker in some corners, all the while needing to say complete like this is
Right.
it is always going to be, all of these books are going to be just as funny as they are scary. Like I am like so programmed to do that I wouldn't know how not to do it.
You know, the
um
comic relief is so well timed. Even like in a
I think
really
it's
big moment, just like out of nowhere, there's like a joke in there, and I'm like, that's fantastic. I love
but
that.
I think it's just like almost like it's got to be for me, like, or something, because I
Hmm.
can't write something that's so dense that there's no oxygen inside of it.
Yeah.
So like, because I can't write it because it doesn't feel good to write. So like I've given myself like the gift over the course of years of like letting these characters be so weird and so themselves. So like all I have to do is like put them in situations and allow them to be themselves.
Yes.
Like the scary situations I can construct. They are goofs. So like the way that it comes out is just like a kind of a natural braiding together of like tension and scary stuff, and then just like really natural comic relief because like the characters themselves really are just I like allow them to make their own choice.
No, and I love that. And I love how authentic and goofy your characters are. Having been that weird kid like back in the day and
Good.
still
Yes.
being that weird kid. Like I have not grown out of it. I
Yes.
just love it. Like there was a point in Toil and Trouble where Thelma like is breakdancing as part of
Yep.
like a school report that she doesn't get to give for other reasons. I'm not gonna spoil, um but then later on she still breakdances for her dad. And I'm like, that is so authentic because that is what a middle grade kid would do because they don't have that sense of like, oh, people are looking at me kind of weird. it's
Right.
it's that honesty and that it's beautiful. And as we get older we tend to lose that, and so I love that about every single one of his characters. I also love Bobby Cho. um
Oh, me too.
at first I was like, I don't know Bobby, but he won me
He's a
over.
great guy. I have to tell you, he does continue to soar in the third book,
Okay.
and um, not too many spoilers here, but there is someone special on the horizon for Bobby, and I'm
Oh, that's
so happy
exciting.
for them. Yeah.
He needs somebody special.
It's
Like
he really does. He's a
I
big
feel like
heart. He's
he's
got a big
playing the
heart.
game hard. He's really trying to. So I'm excited to see how that turns out.
I do. I love
Oh,
him. I
Bobby.
truly love him. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so thank you for the warning as far as
The spookiness.
the spookiness, because I
Yes.
will make sure that I'm only reading during the daytime, no nighttime reading for me. Um, like I have read like young adult books where it's been a little bit spooky. And I remember the one time it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was reading before I went to bed. And I stopped and I literally went all around my house. I was like, okay, everything's locked, everything's closed. Like
I
I'm
freak
safe.
myself out with even middle grade books sometimes.
Yeah.
What was the one that freaked me out? It wasn't recent, but it was serious. Shadow House.
Oh, I haven't.
Dan, is it Dan Pawlowski, who's an incredible writer, and it's so scary.
Yeah.
Also, Lockwood and Co. is so scary.
I've
There's
heard
some really
that.
scary stories
Yeah.
out there.
The book I read as a child, like it's called Wait Till Helen Comes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
I have
By
been
like
eyeing it at the library, and I'm like, I think it's too scary.
it's terrifying. And I read that when I was little, and it's still like it still terrifies me. Like I still think about Helen and the story and everything that like I could give you like a blow by blow. Like I know everything that happens in this book. Um, and I found a copy at a used bookstore a couple weeks ago, and I bought it. So now it's on my
My gosh.
shelf.
So it's what is it, Mary? Is it Mary
Very
Dowling?
Downing, I think. Yeah.
Honor. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait till
That's
Helen
probably
comes.
my sign to read it because I've literally been like, because it's always at my library.
Yep.
It's just like staring at me like it's time to
Yeah.
read
Yeah.
me.
Read it, and then please message me and tell me
Yes.
what your thoughts are. Cause I'm not, I have no plans on rereading it right now.
Just
I will
you just wanted to
eventually.
have it in the house.
I just need to have it for proof to be like, this is what traumatized me as a child. Um, this is why I can't handle spooky things. So,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes. Okay. On the TBR.
Yes, do it. Okay, so what is your favorite part of writing? Like, is it the initial spark of the idea, the drafting, the revision? Where in the process do you find yourself the happiest?
I love that question. So like there is, I mean, I get into like just a I don't know if it's healthy, but it's very compulsive, like what I'm drafting. I know where I'm going and I
Hmm.
want to finish it. It's this like really wonderful, really awful, like very compulsive, propulsive place to be. And it's my favorite. And it's like a race, like I'm like racing myself. And then I'm like so deeply sad when it's over, but like during it, I'm like, get to the end, get to the end, get to the end. And then when it's over, I have like this like mourning period over it. And it's like, why did I rush to get to the end? But that's part of it. Like it's the like I
Right,
love
that
just kind of like,
adrenaline.
yeah, and like and just knowing where I'm going and like a lot like just being in that drafting stage where you're really allowing everything to
Mhm.
come in and allowing things to get discovered. I love that the most.
That is really that's amazing. Drafting is my least favorite part. It is.
Really?
Oh my, I will revise until the cows come home. Like give me a book and just let me keep going over and spend decades like revising it on the sentence level and the plot level and the characters. Um,
Wow.
yeah. I
That's
think
great. That's a great skill set. I have to like really I have to make myself wait
yeah,
and then I have to make myself go slow for revision. And it's like I'm just somebody who rushes maybe.
want to
So
go,
it's
go,
like
go.
I really want to go, go, go. So it's like a lot of work, a lot of work to make myself like stop on a page and be like, let's look at this and just this. So that's what I struggle with.
Fascinating. Yeah. I love hearing where people like where their favorite part is. Because I just think it really speaks to like who we are as people. Um,
Yeah,
and I
sure.
think I don't like drafting because it's too chaotic.
Mm.
And I'm a control person. I want everything to be nice and neat and orderly. And I'm not always good at like just letting things randomly happen and see where it goes. I'm like, no, this is what has to happen. And I get really caught up in that. So I get frustrated. I frustrate
That's
myself.
so, well, I'm probably a chaotic person. I probably skew more on that side. Yeah, because I love starting things. I'll start things all day, every day. And it's
Yeah.
like if I finish something, it's a big deal, So like getting to the end of something is like, I gotta push.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. I find it interesting to like look at all these things from like a very low key psychological profiling kind of
Yeah.
way.
Can I
Um,
ask you a question? I know
absolutely.
you're asking the questions. I told you I'm like this.
Yeah. No,
What
I
is
love
your
it.
like star sign?
I'm a
Do you
Scorpio.
know?
Is that what you
You're
mean?
Scorpio. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also know like maybe my sun and my rising, and I think that they're both Leo.
Oh, wow. How fiery. I
So yeah.
love that. But like, so the cardinal signs, this is like
Uh-huh.
a silly astrology thing, but I really like,
No, I'm here for this.
I really identify with it. So Libra, I'm a Libra, is a cardinal sign and it's air. So it's like always like starting something.
Hmm.
And I think that it's someone who knows more about astrology can say this, but I think Scorpio is it mutable water? Or like it's basically like deep, dark water, like with like incredible depth, right? Like so
Yeah.
like just sinking in and like really getting to the heart of things. And like I because that's why I'm like, it must be because I'm cardinal air that I'm like so like go, 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 go. But like Scorpio is like have so much like wonderful, luxurious depth and like layers and
We get
stuff.
really into focusing on things, like really those little
Yeah.
details. Yes. Yes.
I love that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm an
No.
astrology
No, that was
geek
on
too.
point, on point. 100%.
You never know what plays in.
Oh, yeah, it really does. Um, So, speaking of those kinds of things, what types of elements and themes kind of keep showing up in your writing? Like, what do you notice over and over again as you write?
Um, oh man, I was just gonna say that I just completed my first story with no ghost in it, and then I realized it has a ghost in it. So
So, ghosts.
yes, questions about death. I know, so like light and fun. Um, the questions about like grappling with what truth is and
Mm,
identity and growing up and what's real and what's not real and like how like maybe we're just in a matrix and maybe magic is real and maybe a lot of different things and who's to say like so I
yeah.
think like the questions of the unknown are the number they come up over and over and over again in a lot of different ways in
Yeah.
all the different kinds of things that I write.
No, and I definitely see that in the Thelma B books. Like, you have her, you got like some questions with some magic, you got questions with some paranormal activity things, and then just
Right.
her what's true and what's not. With again, without any spoilers, the end of Toil and Trouble when she reads that letter from an
Yeah.
ancestor, it was just like that hit me. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and
Yeah.
watching her process um what she knows, what she thinks she knows, what she wants to know, all of that was just it was so beautifully done.
Thank
And I think
you.
it really fits in with where middle grade readers are because they're just curious about everything and asking all these questions. So being able to have a character like that, it's something that they can really relate to and understand.
Yeah, and the questions are good. Like
Yeah.
I think that like a lot of times in like the structures that we put on kids, like you're encouraged to think that there are answers to everything, and it's like really important, I think, for kids to know that there
Yes.
aren't answers for everything, and the questions are actually the most important piece of all of this. And your questions aren't stupid, and they're not naive, and they're
Yeah.
not too young. Keep asking those questions. Keep like being curious about things, and don't let like no one know. We don't know what we're doing. Adults don't know
No,
what we're doing. Like, oh
nobody
my
does.
God, like me buy a house. Are you kidding? Like, I have no idea what's going on here. Like,
Yeah.
so like like everyone who pretends like they know everything or they know what's going on, that's not real. The only thing that's real is the curiosity and the
Hmm.
desire for truth. Like, and
Yeah.
if you keep that, and kids have this in abundance, and we like kind of
Yes.
like try to like squeeze it out of them as they grow up. But like that's the thing that like I just want to like it's all everyone's play acting.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying their best. No one knows everything. Keep asking questions, keep being curious because the second we settle in to thinking that something is predestined or just always
Yes.
has to be a certain way, we're lost. We're lost. And kids don't think that yet. So
No.
like
And that is
stoke
so
that
true.
fire of
Yeah.
curiosity. Yeah.
And I think I also love like in your books, you pose all these questions and you have, Thelma working through them, but you don't really give an answer. And I actually
Mm.
really appreciate that. Like you can kind of see like where Thelma might be leaning, but it's not definitive. And it really does leave it up to the reader. And I think that engagement is just so important, especially for that age group. Because I know, when I work with my ninth graders, it's a struggle sometimes to get them to continue on with that questioning. I feel like that's about the age where they're like, just tell me what the answer is so I can
Tell
jump
me
through
what
this
it
hoop.
is. How do I get an
Yeah.
A? Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, that is not what's happening in my class. And I spend like a good half of the year, they're like, well, is this right? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you think it's right? And they're like, just tell me. And I'm like, I can't. I need you. Yeah. And now as we enter into our last 2 weeks of school, like they're doing so well. And like they don't even realize it. And they'll say something and I'll be like, oh, why do you think that? And they just like go off into their explanation, or I don't even have to prompt them anymore. They're just like, well, here's my reasoning and here's why. And it's it's great. It's so great to see them thinking critically. So
That's
um
so cool. Oh my
yeah,
God.
but thank you for writing
For you
really
to be
cool
able to
books
see it
that do
firsthand.
that. Yeah, like
Yeah. Well,
it
I mean,
takes a
books are a
village.
good teachers and books.
Yeah.
These are our tools. This is what we got to work with.
Yeah, and just having that, books are, I always like to think of books as windows or mirrors, which I think is kind of like a popular outlook on them. And it's either going to
Yeah.
reflect what you already think back to you, or it's going to give you a window into a new perspective. And
Yeah.
then you get to decide what you want to do with that. So I don't know.
Awesome. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so do you ever get moments where you're stuck with your plot or characters, and how do you overcome that? How do you move forward when you're just like in a corner with a character and they not doing what you want them to do, or it's just not happening?
So I have been very lucky to not encounter that while on deadline.
Nice. Yeah.
So I just had an experience where I drafted this book and it was just like so much from my heart and it was very different than anything I'd ever written. It was like directly from my heart. And it was special because of that. And I gave it to my agent and
Mhm.
she like really appreciated it and gave me incredible notes. And that the main note was that like we need to figure out the antagonist in a bigger, fuller way. And I was like, yes, we do. We absolutely do. And I have no idea how to do that. Like no idea.
Yeah.
Um, and I knew that if I sat down and like I made bullet lists and I pushed, that it was gonna that the book was gonna change from something that was like from my heart into something that like I was trying to make my agent happy by doing something.
Makes
So I
sense.
put it away. I put it away for longer than I am comfortable doing. And this is you everyone's going to be so annoyed with me by the end of this interview. I figured it out in meditation.
No,
Like
that's amazing.
like 4 weeks afterwards, I wasn't even really thinking about it. And I was sitting in meditation and all of a sudden it was like, oh, yes, that is how I shall move forward. And it was just being able to like let go. It's like when you
Yeah.
remember where your keys are because you're like not thinking about it.
Yes.
Like that to me is like if I'm really, really stuck, I just have to put it away. I got to do other stuff.
Yeah.
And then more often than not, it will come back around.
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, I don't do official meditations, but I do love riding my lawnmower. And I do
Yeah,
love riding the tractor at my parents' house. They have 10 acres and so like needs brush hogged every now and then. And I just like I go out there and I get on and I just ride that tractor for like 8 hours. And
that's it.
it's so mindless and quiet that my brain just starts working through everything on its own while I zone out. And I've solved many a plot problems on my mower.
It's the best. Like
Yeah.
anything like that, even like washing dishes can be like
Yes.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you
Changing
just
the
give
laundry is
yourself,
another one for me. If I get up and I go to just put my laundry from the washer into the dryer, bring that load up, I come back and I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what to do. So yeah, like this meditation thing, totally I'm on board with it.
I know I'm like, it sounds so annoying because it was just like, but I also, I'm at the point too. There's a bit of unbotheredness, I guess, that comes with like just being like rejected a lot and keep writing and writing and
Yeah.
writing. And it's just like, it'll come. And I didn't freak out about it. And like I think maybe a couple of years ago I would have been like stressed about it. Like, oh, I gotta get another draft back to her. Like,
Right.
it's fine. She's fine waiting. I'm fine waiting. Um, and that is, not something that I had the capacity to do a couple of years ago. So, and it's an important part of working things out is just being able to not stress out so
It
much.
really is. No, because like you're just creating problems when you start worrying. And obviously it's easier said than done, but it is. It's
Yeah.
you have to let things just let it go and just be like, you know what?
Let it go.
I'm doing this room, which is what you said at the beginning, was you just have to write from your heart and write for yourself. So
That's it.
see,
It's the
human
only,
circle
it's
back.
the
Yeah.
only way. I wrote one book once that was like, this would be a good concept for a book. And I wrote it
Yeah.
and it was just garbage. And it's like, I didn't hate it. I don't hate it, it's fine.
Mm.
But it's like, it's just not, it's not what kids deserve is just like a concept for a book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, and it's a cute, oh, this is a cute, it's like this, it's, I'm thinking about like the pitch line and this and that and the other thing. And it's like, you know what? It's just it just has no there is nothing else in there except for the concept.
Yeah.
So I think just being patient with yourself and just writing things that like no matter what it is, or like start painting if you feel like painting, or start dancing if you feel like dancing. It's like trying to write for something else or for someone else. I don't know. I've
It
never
never
been
works.
able to
I
do
feel like
that
you can
very
tell when
well.
you read a book, you can tell if the author was genuinely happy and like invested versus
Yeah,
like this is a sale and I had to do it, or those kind of things. Like you can really tell whether
yeah.
their heart and soul is in it or not. At least I feel like I
I
can.
think
Maybe
so
maybe not,
too.
but
I think so too. And I wonder if it would be cool to kind of like take a survey of authors and like
yes.
books and be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how emotionally connected were you to this work?
Yeah.
Like, I knew
You'd have to like, yeah, like I feel like you'd have to keep that data very secret because
it. Yes. I
everybody would
know, right?
freak out. But I would love
Pretty
to know that.
interesting though. Be good data.
Yes. Oh my gosh, fascinating. If any authors out there want to reach out to me and let me know, I promise full confidentiality. I have questions. I want answers. So, all right. On top of teaching or sorry, on top of writing and also doing yoga instruction, you're also a creative writing instructor. You have programs designed for kids, for adults. And so, as a fellow writing based business owner, I am super curious on how you kind of develop that from idea to actual business. And what about the teaching process really brings you joy? That's my
So
teacher question, my teacher to teacher question.
yeah, I have my master's in teaching because I was going to be an English teacher. I was going to be a high school English teacher.
You would have been
Um,
fabulous.
you know what? I wasn't built for combat. Um,
You're not wrong in the combat, like
I
whether or
had
not
like
you're built for it, but you're not wrong about the combat aspect of the classroom. Okay.
it was really hard. I took over for someone who kind of like left mid-year and it was a challenging kind of situation. And by May, I was just like, I don't think so. I don't think this is going to be for me. But I've always had it in my head. I thought I was going to be a drama teacher at one point. Like I've always kind of I come from maybe I'm just from like a family of teachers, so it felt like teaching was the thing. But then I just kind of wasn't doing it, and that's okay. And I was doing other work and I was writing books. And at one point, an incredible librarian named Wendy reached out to me out of nowhere. Um, and she was like, I have a philanthropist who wants us to do a young writers program. And you're an author that lives near here because I Googled who you are. Would you like to do this? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I didn't really have an idea, but then when I sat down, I was like, ooh, 8 weeks, an hour and a half a week. Let's boogie, right? So like I made this whole like
Oh, that sounds amazing.
plan and then yeah, it was just like so fun to work with Wendy. And now like Miss Jen is there too. And we've got like and we had funding and it was so incredible. And it was so different than any kind of other teaching I had ever done. And
Hmm.
so exciting. And then like it ended and then they wanted to do another one and then they wanted to do another one and then they wanted to do another one and like it was getting filled up in like a half an hour as soon as like
That's
the
amazing.
register. It was just so cool. And now over the course that we've been doing this for like 4 years now, I think, and it's just like I kind of know the patter of it, and yet it's completely and so like now other libraries, other communities, other school systems
Hmm.
kind of have asked to replicate this or in a different form or different numbers of weeks or different
Yeah.
goals. And it's I can show up with my point of view and with like a couple of really good tools. I've developed a couple of really good tools, but then from there it's like who's in the room, who
Hmm.
are you people as humans?
And how are you going to take it and make it your own? Yeah.
And every single one is completely different, and every single kid is completely different. And they have these ideas that like no one else would have.
Yes.
And like just this piece. And I was talking, I was talking to my best friend the other day because we grew up and we were big drama kids in high school, big drama kids.
Yeah.
And our drama teacher, who's since passed away, was like our mentor and like was so serious about it and so serious about us and so serious about what we could do in the world if we wanted to. And it feels like I feel like I'm like finishing up on a or I'm continuing this contract that like someone
Yeah.
invested so much in me when I was young and in so much in like making sure that I knew that my voice was worth something. And that's like, I didn't know that that was going to be such an important part of this journey, like on the other
Yeah.
end of that
Oh,
in this way. But it's like, it feels like my life purpose. And that's like a really weird thing to say. And I love writing books more than anything, except probably seeing a kid hold his book that like
yes.
he wrote because we worked together and he figured out that he could do it. Um, and it's just been a profound experience that I didn't even know that I was interested in like exploring.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just everything. And I'm like a professional hype person. Like all I do, and it's like I've never muttered a single lie.
Yeah.
I'm just that excited all the time about what these kids are doing because it's awesome.
It
Because
is.
anytime a kid goes from thinking that like they're just a consumer to being a creator, it's
Hmm.
like earth-shakingly awesome. So that's what
Yeah.
I love about it.
No, that all
Once
makes
again,
perfect
a
sense
long
to me.
answer to a short question.
Yeah. No, no, that's beautiful. I think like I agree. I know my own like what keeps me going. It's the kids and getting to see them grow and figure out their own voices and going from, not thinking that they have the knowledge or the power or the ability. And then they
Yes.
do, and they get there and just watching them and they're out of the box thinking. Um, I've taught Romeo and Juliet for 15 years. Every year I have at least one or two kids who will be like, well, what about this and this? And it's a theory I have never heard before and has never crossed my mind. And I'm like, that is brilliant. I Yes. So I
Oh,
love when I get that. Like it brings me joy. So everything you said makes perfect sense.
it's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah,
It's
it
just the
really is.
best.
Like there is
Yeah.
nothing like it. To get to watch those kids grow and learn and just yeah, it's cool.
And own it and just be
Yeah.
like, I'm a person who can do this.
Yes.
Like yeah, different people can do different things. And this is one of the things that I can do, that I have a right
Yes.
to do.
Yeah.
I have a birthright to be here and
Mm-hmm. And tell my
tell any
story,
kind of
whatever that
story that I
is.
want to.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
100%. Um, so what has been your favorite part of writing the Thelma B trilogy?
It's the characters are so dear to me. And it's like I I am very doubtful that I would have finished this up or gone back if I didn't feel so like beholden to them. Um, they're really, it's just, I feel like I've gotten to know real people, which sounds
Yeah.
psychotic, but like they really are like just, they're so delightful to spend time with and they're so delightful to write. Um, that it's just, the characters make it really fun, really, really fun.
No, and they're beautiful characters. Like I love them. I think that I love every single one. Like they're all so fun.
Thank
So
you.
yeah.
I can't wait for you to meet a couple new people.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I will be like in the next I only have 9 more days of school, I
Oh,
think.
there is no deadline on middle grade
So
enjoyment.
once
Please take your
this
time.
week's a little hectic, next week slows down a little bit. I've got some time, so I'll be able to sit down and really put on my reading pants and just read. Um,
Reading pants.
my reading
That
pants.
sounds good.
All right. So speaking of what's coming next, can you give us any teasers for your next project? What you might be working on?
I can. Can we say hi to my daughter Sadie really quick?
Hello, Sadie. Lovely to meet you.
This is
Mm,
Katie. You want to say hi?
mm.
Hi, Katie. Sadie, did you need something, honey bun?
Say hello to all of your fans, Sadie.
Oh, I know. And maybe we can edit Sadie out if she has a personal question. What's your question?
Yeah, awesome.
Why who eats the teeth of their brains for breakfast in Bumblebee? Who eats the tears of their enemies and oh, for breakfast? The answer was Izzy, but it was just a joke. It was a joke in the book. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with Katie. Is that okay? And I'll come and get you when I'm done. You can watch a show. Do you want to go watch a show? Okay. She's an absolute gremlin.
Oh my God. Just
Television. So what she
honestly,
was asking,
but my favorite part was just like the little like off screen. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I did a like a Sassy Magazine-esque like character quiz at my book
Yeah.
launch the other day. And one of them was about like what's your favorite breakfast food? And one of the options was like the tears of my enemies. And that's what she was asking me about now, a week later.
Yeah.
But it's Izzy. Izzy will drink the tears of her enemies for breakfast. That was the
I
answer to
mean,
the question. Sorry, we can edit all of this.
uh, if I mean it's up to you. I will edit it out, but if you'd like me, like if you're okay, we could just leave it in. It's whatever you want to do, whatever makes you the most comfortable, because I think it's fantastic.
Oh my, you had a question about books though.
I did. I did. I just want to know if you can give us like a little teaser for whatever you might be working on next and what I have to look forward to creeping me out in the future.
Ah, yes. Okay. So, and with publishing, we never know.
Right.
So we'll see what paths all of these things take. I have an upper middle grade that is currently in the world on submission called Cast the Expanse. And it's a ghost story. It's about oh boy, I have to like get back into my Cast the
Yeah.
Expanse brain. It's a small island off the coast of Maine with rich and strange history. that a girl goes to spend the summer with her grandfather. And she finds friendship, but she also finds a lot of other stuff too.
Okay.
So that's Cast the Expanse. I don't have a log line for it yet. And then what I just finished writing and I'm currently revising is actually a cozy fantasy.
Ooh,
It's completely different. It's not spooky, but there is a ghost, which I was
okay.
thinking that it didn't have a ghost, but it does kind of technically have a ghost in it. But it's a cozy fantasy about, and it was written for me and for my family after our beloved cat Lucy passed away last year. And it's the imagining of what's next for her.
Okay.
And it
That actually
is
sounds
just
really sweet.
it's definitely the most heartfelt thing that I've
Yeah.
ever written. But I still cry about Lucy every day. I lost her like 6 months ago.
Oh my gosh. No, that like the
So
loss of a pet is so hard.
it's real, man. It's
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
She was my girl. She was 16 years old.
yeah.
But yeah, it was really just talking about like writing as a way of just like being human. Like
Mm-hmm.
I,
It's how you process so many things.
it was so healing. And I would send it in. My beautiful husband was so like was very much in having the same emotional experience as me. And I just sent him chapter by chapter. I would write it and send it to
Oh,
him. And it was like something that we could like share and
yeah.
we built a whole world, you know what I mean, for her. Only her name is Rowan in the book, but
Okay. But still
it's
that I think that's
it's just
really
swashbuckling filled with trolls and
I'm in.
strange shadow beasts, and it's
Yeah,
just fun.
I'm
Bog
in.
rats.
Please, publishers, whoever you are, please buy this because I need to read it. Um, me, I will
I
buy it.
I can send it to you too. You can be one of my beta readers. It's not
Please.
but it's really it's one of those things where I'm like I just like vomited up all of my heart.
Yeah.
Now it's a book. So
But I
we'll
do like
see.
again, I think that just goes back, we talked about that. Writing just allows you to process so many things because we
Yeah.
take what we're going through and we put it on other people or other characters, and then
Yeah.
it's not as painful for us to kind of like poke and prod at that trauma or that event. Yeah.
Absolutely. Is that what is that Maurice Sendak quote? I can't remember what it is, but
Oh,
it's
I don't
something
know.
about like the most, you'll ever encounter truth is in fiction because we can
Yeah.
get there, you
I mean
know.
that makes a lot of sense.
Are
So
you wa- are you watching Andor by any chance?
I'm not. I don't have
Okay.
the Disney Channel. That right is on Disney.
It is. If you
Yeah.
ever it is very of the moment, I will say. And I couldn't watch something about this content if it was like based in current day, but since it's in Star Wars,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can take these messages and I can metabolize them because
Yes.
it's not happening in my backyard. It's happening on like Coruscant.
Right. Yeah. No, that and that
It's
totally makes
interesting.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need that disconnect.
Yeah.
Because times are tough.
It's all true. No
It is.
lies detected.
All right. So with that deep thought, we're gonna go into my lightning round questions. So these are just four. I have four. Yeah, four questions for you. As little amount of thought as possible. I just want you to answer the first thing that comes to your mind. So
Okay.
question one. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Telekinesis.
Ooh. Okay, that's the one where like you can move things, right? Like with your
Yes.
mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
That would be cool.
that would be really cool. I would love that. Like I would use it selfishly. I'd be like, I want a soda, but I don't want to get up. So I'd be like, open the fridge, like bring me like
This is what I'm saying. That's why I want
yeah,
telekinesis.
yeah. Like I wouldn't use it for like the greater good. It just make my
I would
life
be like,
easier.
I don't want to get up, but I need some
Oh
Advil.
my gosh. Okay, question two. What is your go-to move in rock, paper, scissors?
Paper.
Paper, really fascinating.
Yes.
Most people go, I feel like my students are all rocks.
I feel like paper can just like float up on top and
Yeah,
cover. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't like conflict, maybe. That's And just
Gentle.
yeah,
But that paper, those scissors are just gonna cut you up. So you
just
gotta
gonna cut
watch
you
out.
up. I
Yeah.
know, but I'll get cut up. I'd rather that than smash somebody, I guess.
All right. Question three. Have you ever personally experienced a paranormal event or a haunting other than this Zoom call?
Um, so yes, I think so. My grandmother's friend Debbie was a psychic medium, and I was working at a historic house, and they came for the tour. And afterwards, she told me that there was um, a little girl up in the attic who was watching me present, and that the little girl liked me and wanted to be my friend. So that's the closest I ever came to a ghost story. But
That's
I had
amazing.
to continue to give like tours in that house for the rest of the
Yeah.
summer, but
Oh my God. Well,
it was
wait till
cool.
Helen comes because I feel like there's some parallels there that you're gonna make,
Mm.
and it's a good thing you didn't become friends with that child. Just to let you know. Okay, so you have to join the cast of the last TV show that you watched. Who are you joining, and what is your chance of survival? Like, how's
All
your
right,
life
so
gonna turn out?
I'm watching Andor. I
Yeah,
gave that away. Um, I have to join the cast.
yeah. Like now you're like a named character. You have some type of a plot line.
Yeah, no, I definitely would be in the rebellion. But I would probably be more like Mon Mothma, the senator
Okay.
who was trying to like make things work from inside until she finally can't do that anymore. You know, not to draw any parallels between any,
Any real life events?
but
Yes.
yeah, no, like I think I am so inspired by that show. I think the writing, man, if you get to like if you can grab it on DVD or something sometime, the writing is exquisite.
Yeah, I've heard nothing
And
but good things about all
oh
the
my
different like
God,
Star Wars shows. So,
it's like the characters and the world building. I mean, like
yeah,
it just like far exceeds anything I've ever seen in like sci-fi television ever before or sci-fi movies. It's the best sci-fi I've ever seen,
that's
ever.
nice.
Yeah, highly
Well,
recommend. I
I
tried
will
to survive the
one
rebellion.
day.
I don't know. I'd end up blown up on a Death Star or something, but I'd try.
You'd make it. You'd make it out. You'll be fine.
I'd try.
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it all the way to the end.
I'd try to talk my way out of the death laser.
Yeah, you could do it. I believe in you. Just be like, here's a story, and
Oh,
you'll just
once
yeah,
upon a time.
yeah, and
Right.
you'll be fine. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining me despite our technical difficulties, which were just all over the place tonight. But I
It
really
was
appreciate
great.
you taking time out of your schedule to chat with me. This has been fantastic. So you can find all the links to Erin's webpage down below, and you're going to want to check that out. And also, you have a class coming up, right? Or did that already start?
Yes, I have a couple classes. Okay. Oh, my Zoom
Yeah,
classes
your Zoom
for
classes.
adults.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Those are
yeah.
kind of like a rolling thing. We have a group
Okay.
that meets every Tuesday night, and it's like just a total delight. So like we get inquiries and start different groups, but it's kind of like a very easygoing rolling thing for fiction writing. And for the kids stuff, we have tons of in-person stuff in the Massachusetts area. If
Perfect.
you or your young writer happen to be in Massachusetts.
And can people find out about your Zoom adult class on your webpage, or is it better on Instagram?
Yes.
Like both.
Oh, the webpage is awesome. You can get in touch
Okay.
via email or anything. It's a fun adventure. We're taking it together. It's all good.
Awesome. All right. So definitely check that out. It has been, again, just a delight to reconnect with you and to chat with you. And I can't wait to read more Erin Petti books. So
I'm
publishers,
so excited. The publisher is Snowy Wings
yes.
Publisher, and they're awesome.
Yeah,
And I'm
we have
grateful.
I've got the whole trilogy up here. They're beautiful. Um,
Yay!
so yeah, so definitely get out there, go buy those books so that way you let people know that we want more Erin Petti books because that's how publishing works. You have to actually, or request them at the library. If you can't buy them, request them at
Yeah.
the library, because that still also works. Like all of those things are good. Um, or from the free library, and you say, I want this book, and they get the audio of it. It
There
works.
you
Yeah.
go. Awesome stuff. That is very
So,
exciting.
so that's all we have for you guys tonight. Scribblers, you know the drill. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.